we're happy to confirm
the development of more DLC fighters for Super Smash Bros. Ultimate.
The biggest announcement from the recent Direct was more DLC fighters for Smash. And I don't typically do topical or trendy videos, but this one I cannot resist. And just a couple things I gotta point out, no matter who they end up being, I will not be disappointed. I got my all-time #1 pick and my #2. They could have not done any DLC and I would have been just fine. So after getting Banjo and Kazooie on top of it, disappointment is not in the cards for me. But of course, there are still others I would love to see added, and others I would see as a waste, while other people have been waiting entire console generations for them. And more power to them. Smash is a crossover fighting game, and one of the most magical consequences of that is everyone can speculate and contribute ideas based on their own backgrounds and experiences with video games. Also, fans have made up rules and assumed the guidelines Nintendo sets for themselves for this series, only to whip out excuses to do damage control around their crumbled theories. At first it was only Nintendo characters, then it was some third parties, but only ones whose games were on Nintendo consoles, and then this, and then that. But now, it seems like anything goes. But still, a couple barriers, for all we know, may or may not exist.
Rules!
Spirits. I'll admit, they seem unlikely. But several fighters already have multiple spirits in addition to their fighter spirit 1 in classic mode, so some spirits can still be upgraded to fighters with another fighter spirit. However, the extra spirits of fighters are typically side personas, not the official main character. So I don't know. Assist trophies of course seem even less likely, and it bums me out because so many are ones that I wanted, even as echoes at the very least. And sure, they could patch them out of the code for anyone who purchased the DLC fighter, and sure, they could one day release Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Definitive Edition with all the content included and new assist trophies to fill in the omitted ones. Look, I'm on your side. I want it to happen. I know they could do it, but if you ask me for my prediction, I don't think they will, but I would love to be proven wrong, and for the sake of this video, I'll consider it a possibility, mostly because the whole Waluigi controversy might tip the scales. The only bar I think is set, and actually hope remains set, is the character origins. The character has to be from a video game. No anime or comics or films. Smash Bros. Is a celebration of video games, and even though that too could change someday, I honestly hope it doesn't. You gotta set the limits somewhere, am I right? There's two things Sakurai said that shape my predictions for future fighters. He wants to bring together as many game worlds as possible. This makes me think all the fighters will be either third-party or Nintendo IPs that are not yet represented, but they pretty much all are. This puts several fighters out of the running, but that could potentially be vetoed by the other thing Sakurai said. He wants to please the fans. He's made that pretty damn clear. I am very, 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 very pleased. So with those two criteria in mind, let's see what fighters could receive an invitation very soon. Let's start with the obvious, Waluigi. I don't understand why of all characters that didn't make the cut, he's the one that got such an egregious uproar of backlash, because there are so many better ones. But at the same time, I get it, because he's such a obvious fundamental choice that it's like, how did they not just put him in? He easily should have been Wario's Echo as Peach has Daisy. And he's a first-party character from the flippin' Mario series. If there's one assist trophy that I think can be promoted, it's Luigi's evil doppelganger. Because if Sakurai's goal is to please the fans, this would obviously be a huge step in that direction. Geno is a long-time request that even Sakurai himself wanted to do since Brawl, and I was surprised to find out why he never was. He's owned by Square Enix. I don't get it. K. Rool was made by Rare, but he's part of the DK universe, which is owned by Nintendo. Geno is a one-off character from the Mario universe, so why the fuck doesn't Nintendo own him? We already have 2 Square Enix fighters, but I don't think they care about company representation. It's more about, as he put it, the game worlds. Mario is already well represented, and Geno is already a spirit. But it would please a massive number of fans, it's something he's been wanting to do himself, and it would make one hell of a fighter. If there was one spirit besides Geno I think is possible, it's Dixie Kong. She's first party, she's wickedly requested, she would make an easy echo for Diddy, and with only 3 characters, the DK universe is severely underutilized. And I can just see the trailer now. I feel like Crash Bandicoot is a very real possibility. He doesn't have a spirit or an assist trophy, it's an unrepped game world, he's highly requested, and even though it hasn't been a PlayStation exclusive for longer than he has been, he's still fondly remembered as a PS1 mascot. So to have not only a Microsoft rep, but a quote-unquote Sony rep, I mean, I once said this could bring world peace, but this, holy shit. This is what I see as potential moveset being. Throw in a Wumpa Island stage and the series' wacky music fits right into Smash. Similarly, Spyro is just as plausible as Smash. I sometimes think Crash has a better chance, but likewise I feel it would be weird to put only one of them. I often think of Crash and Spyro as a pair. Again, Spyro is an unrepped franchise, would make many people happy, and would be a cute little contrast to the other Dragon Fighter. This is what I see his potential moveset being. Top it off with a Dragon Realm stage, and if Grant Kirkhope was the first non-Japanese composer Sakurai worked with, I wonder how he'd feel about collabing with the fucking drummer of the Police. What I'm saying is, Spyro would be awesome. Maybe. He currently seems like the most requested character left, but it's a double licensing issue between Square and Disney, mostly Disney, and I don't know what his moveset could be because I don't really play Kingdom Hearts, but I do feel like his final Smash would feel sorely lacking without cameos from Goofy and Donald, which presents a whole other licensing issue with Disney alone. But considering all variables, maybe. At first glance, Doomslayer is a laughable proposition. An M-rated game full of blood and gore that was once at the center of the whole video games cause violence bullshit, but then I remember this beautiful slut. Plus, the series itself has been on Nintendo consoles. Bethesda and Nintendo have been real buddy-buddy since the Switch launched, and if Sakurai wants to bring as many game worlds as possible, Doom is a huge deal. It basically pioneered the entire first-person shooter. I don't play Doom, so I don't know what his moveset could be, but huge deal. Speaking personally, Rex, and possibly an echo of Pyra, are characters that I could not care less about, but I've underestimated how popular Xenoblade is before. Sakurai mentioned that he wanted to include him but couldn't due to time constraints, so it seems practically inevitable. I think this one's a sure thing. Jibanyan, am I saying that right? Actually seems extremely likely. He's the Pikachu of Yokai Watch, which is a first-party IP that is massively popular in Japan, and is yet to be represented in the game, not even as a spirit or assist trophy, which only raises his chances. And I'm not into Yokai Watch, although I'd like to be for certain reasons, but can't because of other reasons, and I won't get into that right now, maybe save that for another video. But Jibby, I call him Jibby now, would make a very cool addition to the roster. With the inclusion of Shovel Knight as an assist trophy and Sans as a very distinguished Mii Fighter costume, Ultimate's embrace of indies has mirrored that of Nintendo itself. The most requested indie rep as far as I can tell is Steve. Minecraft is a cultural phenomenon that I personally don't care about, and I'm sure it would please a lot of people, but I can't picture this blocky dude as a Smash fighter. Despite a potentially interesting moveset, I actually think he's gonna end up as a Mii costume. Please. I know you won't, but just please. Despite already being a spirit, I think the indie character with the best shot is Shantae. She's been around the longest, she's unrepresented, she's had heavy vocal support, she has a history on Nintendo consoles, and she would make an awesome fighter. She's got a colorful and attractive design that would mesh well with the series, and between her hair, dancing, pirate weapons, and animal forms, her moveset would be bananas. The music selection would be killer, and the stage could be Scuttletown. And there's even potential for dialogue between her, Sky, and Risky Boots, just like Pit, Palutena, and Veriti. And we need more female fighters. Speaking of female fighters, my final prediction is none other than Lara Croft. In addition to Gino and Sora, she would make 5 Square Enix fighters, and while I don't think she has as good a chance as those two, I do think she deserves the spot more than anyone. This beautiful Raider of Tombs is a gaming icon on par with Mario and Sonic. So that's a game world Sakurai would be wise to consider. She's not highly requested for some reason, but there are literally 0 people who would not be ecstatic. There are literally 0 people who would look at a Lara Croft splash card and think, oh well that's nice, but I would have preferred Waddle Dee. She has several costumes she can wear, some classic music tracks, and perhaps her stage should be some sort of tomb, or the peak with the best view of Yamatai. So those are the ones I believe have the best chance based on what Sakurai said and gauging fan reception. But hey, I could be totally wrong about them all. I thought the first Fighters Pass would consist mostly of the ones I just went through, but nope. I did not expect to see Joker, Hero, or whoever the fuck Terry is. Even Banjo and Kazooie took me by surprise despite how I slightly expected them. And there are still other fighters I would absolutely love that I didn't mention because I don't think they're very likely. Like Pyramid Head, Amaterasu, Hat Kid, CJ, but fuck it. Maybe even those are possible. I mean, a Grove Street stage? Hey Saki, I call him Saki now. You wanna talk about game worlds colliding? Grand Theft Auto is a behemoth of video games, and people say there aren't enough females in Smash.
Hey Sal, how come getting the brothers on the wall here?
The question that remains is how many? How many more DLC fighters are we gonna get? It won't be 1, cause they said fighters plural, and also fuck that shit. 2 is like a weird tease and unlikely, but it could be 3. 3 is a good number. It's a prime number. Everything comes in fucking 3s. The 3 Musketeers, the 3 Stooges, the 3 Amigos, the rule of 3. It's the amount of times you have to hit the boss to beat him. 4 feels as weird as 2, and why would they do that when they can just go to 5? A whole other fighter pass. And that's what I think they'll do, because instead of spending $6 on 1 or 2 individual fighters, they want you to feel like you're saving money by actually spending more than you would have by locking you into a greater deal. And fuck it, maybe there will be more than 1 fighter pass. A first-party fighter pass for easier profit, a third-party fighter pass, an Echo fighter pass. Maybe they want to reach an impressive 100 fighters. I feel like they've been stringing us along because we went from this,
So I'm kind of hoping you aren't expecting too many new challengers.
to this, to this.
We're happy to confirm the development of more DLC fighters.
I know what you're up to.
Sakurai said that this might be his last Smash for a while, possibly forever, and he wants to put his all into it and make it as grand as possible. Combine as many game worlds and please as many fans as possible. Our dreams are finally in line with Nintendo's goals. Personally, I want it to be this, but I think it'll be this. But I'm scared it will be this. But enough about me. What do you want it to be? Who are you still hoping will receive that coveted envelope? Leave all your wildest wishes and sensible speculations in the comments. Also, give the video a like. Whether you liked it or not, doesn't matter, I won't tell the difference. And if you'll excuse me, I'ma play some Smash.